Got Troy, my dog. He's been out there with me all the time. Well, here's what we're doing today. We're going to hook up this hot port to some power to give us 12-volt power supply in the back seat of the ghost truck. The reason being, in 2003, these were never offered with as far as I know, the trucks, crew cabs were never offered with a port back here, nor a cup holder. So this cup holder actually mounts on top, something like that. And this came out of an excursion, so I had to take apart this part of the console. I did this a couple of years ago probably, and then added this. Well, I never did run a power lead for the power port. So since everybody that rides with you anywhere anymore has a phone or something, and it always needs to be charged, I've had people ride with me say, "Oh, your thing doesn't work back here." I said, "Yeah, I've never hooked it up." So that's what I'm doing today. I actually started this job yesterday and got the console loose, and found out I could run some wire underneath the carpet. I'll show you that, and I'll tell you what we're doing. So we had to take the console loose. Now it would have been easier if I could have. It's got 4 bolts and one still in there. A friend of mine said just here a while back on Facebook, said every 15-minute job is a 3-day job with a twisted bolt. Well, that bolt would not come loose, but it came out far enough before the captured nut, this one here, before the captured nut in the transmission tunnel twisted loose, and I couldn't get any farther. But I think we got enough, and I don't think it'll rattle. If it rattles, I'll be forced to put a self-tapping screw in there. So that's where we're at there. I'll show you the other side. So if you look here, this is the fish tool right here. These 2 sections screw together. This one's got a point on it on the end with a wire. Try to get the shadow out, but I'm doing this outside in the sun. Beautiful day. And it's actually got 2 more sections you can use if you have to. And this, you can either put this this probe on there that's got a hole in it, or it's actually got a hook that you can screw on there. But we'll use this. I'm going to tape it, cut a length of wire. I'll show you what I'm going to do here in a minute. So what we got is a couple of small rolls of wire, 12 feet in each roll, black and red. Matches the wires coming from the power point that's in the console. I need one of those narrow female fittings. That's what's I'll use in the fuse box. And then I'm going to try to put the get that wire real tight with tape and put it in a sleeve to protect it, even though it's underneath the carpet. There's possibility of some sharp edges where the cab was welded together, might be. So just kind of help protect that wire. And that real little thin wire you see right here is the length I need. That's actually safety wire. I've got some of that safety wire, and I just rolled enough of it to kind of the length I needed roughly, and made it plenty long, hopefully, and I'll cut the wire that length and we'll start from there. Here's a little trick. I'm going to have these 2 wires, and we don't really want to just twist them tight together, but we want them together to put in that sleeve that's slit down. And so I want to be able to tape ever so often these wires together just to make it easier to put in that sleeve. So I just took a C-clamp, fastened here on this horse, and we'll just put a little tape every now and then, run around the tape around it and go down through there with our 3M tape. Remember from a video before, always use good tape. Yeah, if you look real close, I've got tape, I don't know, ever 6 or 8 inches down through here, and just kind of put it all together. I know there's a shadow here, but that's what we're working with. Well, we got all the sleeving on, and this is the end I'm probably going to tape to the fish and take it back underneath the carpet. And here again, I put tape ever so often on this sleeving to make sure the wire stays inside. I'm sure I don't need as much wire as I've got, but you don't want to add to it later, so I got enough on the end. That'll what I have on this end will hopefully be plenty to tie into the fuse box. And if you haven't ever seen this, to put that sleeving on one of these little tools, it's the berries. It takes a little effort still, but it's easier to do with your thumbs and cutting your thumbs up. I've tried this before on short sections and really didn't have a lot of good luck, so I was bound to determine I was going to get to work this time, and it worked pretty slick. Even though the tubing I'm using, the split tubing I'm using, is kind of small for this, it still worked pretty slick. And I would show you how, but I can't hold the camera and use both hands and do it. It's kind of something you have to figure out. It comes open, and you'll slide it, put it over your wire, then down in your tubing with that kind of that blunt end, and just work it through your tubing, and work your wire in as you're following through with your other hand, and works pretty slick. Oh yeah, I think I'm going to go get some Gorilla Tape out of the camper and fasten this onto that fish with Gorilla Tape, because I'll tell you what, if you've ever used Gorilla Tape, it's very, very sticky, and I've used it before times like this. It's hard to beat. Well, this may be kind of an awkward shot, but you get that fish, I've got it up next to the firewall underneath the carpet. You follow it back out of that slit. So we're going to attempt to fish some wire through there, fasten it to this end, and we'll pull it back through. We got her through. You can tell there's the probe. Got the wire approved through the carpet, so we can undo it. I got a hole in the bottom of the console. Snake the wire up through, then go back through the back of the console into where the power port is, and we may get this figured out today. Okay, if you look down where those needle pliers are pointing, that's where the wire is going to come up through the console. And I drilled a hole and then put a grommet in the hole, because that plastic can be sharp sometimes. I'd hate for it to wear a hole in the wire, so looks like a good place to put a grommet. So what we have here is a fuse and this little brass piece. It literally, it slides up over the spade on the fuse, and you snap it over the top of the fuse, and that gives you a lead without splicing any wires or cutting any wires. And especially if you have a lot of these new vehicles have open circuits that they're not really using. They'll have a fuse in there, but they're not using. And it had a 20 amp fuse in it, so I knew we were okay. So that's why we used that. Now, if you look real close, until I got the ground in, let me find it here. Anyway, that's the ground right there. Couldn't get my finger in there. Pliers pointing to it. That's the ground. And right there is the hot wire going into the fuse box. And I checked it out, and it looks like we got spark back there, so that's good. So there it is, and get stuff tidied up here, and I think we got her ready to go. That's what we got to go in there. It's got a USB port on each side, and we're going to use this one. We'll get one like it. We use this in the front seat a lot. So anyway, I think we got her whipped. I'll get her put back together. Well, here's the finished product. Got her put back together. Cleaning up now. Works fine. Back secure. Done. God bless you. God bless America. Say a prayer for somebody today. See ya.